So I was remotely controlling my astral body. I was just kind of pushing it places. I thought it was a pretty cool experience, other than the astral body was in some sort of terrestrial crust and I couldn't get it out. So RVers do this. They move their astral body places and they use it as a way of getting this stream of input that you can analyze. And they just look at things up close and feel things, and that reduces the analytical overlay, or the monkey mind that brings forth things that aren't related to the target. And I don't really enjoy this too much, so I don't do it too often, but I found myself, like, with the dual consciousness thing, remotely controlling my astral body, and I could feel the stream of input coming back, and all I felt was dirt and rock. And I started pushing it really quickly through this terrestrial crust, and it just didn't end. I couldn't get out of it. I felt like I was moving at the speed of light, but I couldn't get out of the crust. So I just got fed up and I moved all my consciousness into the astral body. And as soon as I did this, I shot out of this crust. I don't know if it was the Earth or not. I don't know what solar or what planetary system I was in, but it ended up in an asteroid belt. Like, I just stopped at an asteroid belt. I guess I just traveled in one direction very quickly and eventually stopped at an asteroid belt. Or if there was something important there that I wanted to see subconsciously. Anyways, I was looking at this small asteroid thing, and there was a specular substance that looks like coagulated water in the insets of the asteroid. So there was just tons and tons of it. Everywhere where this liquid could coagulate, it was in that asteroid. They weren't just in like small holes. It was pooled up in very large parts of the asteroid. So of course, this probably isn't water, because water would, I don't know what would happen, but it wouldn't stay watery. I know that in outer space. So it could be like ice, or perhaps a different fluid that we don't know of. But anyways, there was this water looking substance all over the asteroids. And I looked to my left a bit, and there was this asteroid that was, 3 or 4 kilometers long, much larger. And it had the same sort of substance coagulated all around it. Only thing was that it was really defined. It had all these defined edges, and I realized that it wasn't an asteroid. It was a ship that was camouflaged as an asteroid. And I decided that I'm just going to fly inside this ship, because I want to see what it looks like on the insides. Of course, there's not a lot of details to observe when it's cloaked like this, so I was like, I should go inside of it. So I flew inside of it, and immediately I felt myself being pulled to a specific compartment in the ship, and I felt my astral body get really heavy. It was developing a materialistic form, or I was materializing into the ship, and I just kind of blacked out inside the ship and regained consciousness into a specific compartment. So this weird shift in consciousness was interesting, because it felt like I was materializing, like teleporting into the ship. I was thinking about aborting the experience because of that. I didn't want to teleport into it physically, but I thought that, that's probably not going to happen, and this is way too cool of an experience to abort. So I ended up regaining consciousness in this weird compartment, and immediately the experience was highly physically realistic, and I was just in that compartment thinking about whether or not I'm physically in this ship. I was like, well, I can't be physically here, because I know that I was astral projecting around the asteroids, but now, I'm just like in this weird materialistic state. I feel like I have a heavy body. And there were these extraterrestrials standing outside of this compartment, and I could see their faces a bit through the cloth. There was a cloth over my compartment. It was a bit weird. It's hard to describe, but I could see and feel them, like, looking through the cloth at me, and I could really feel their minds. And I knew that they were traditional looking extraterrestrials. The ones that just, they have a simple form, and the look. So I took the cloth and I kind of removed it, or I made a hole in the cloth around the edges of the compartment, and I moved out of it, and I just ran, or I tried to run out of the room, but they were doing something to me, so I couldn't really move. But yeah, I took a look at them, and they were definitely grays. Or they were not the white ones that I've seen, the white or brown ones. They were a shade of gray for sure. Like, I saw these guys pretty vividly. This is by far the most vivid abduction type experience I've ever had. So I hope that gives you some nice dreams. That was the significant, undistorted part of my experience. It goes on. But I hope you enjoyed this video. See you next time.